Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about the different sweetness level of champagne. You might think that champagne are mostly just dry, really tart, bubbly juice, but there's actually quite a nice range of sweetness when it comes to champagne. So let's go through them today. We're going to start from the driest level going to the sweetest. So the driest level of champagne out in the market is commonly known as the Brut Natural. So Brut Natural. And in this styles of champagne, the sugar level in here is between 0 to 3 grams of sugar per liter. And the word natural means it's all natural, obviously, which means there's no additional sugar added. So the sweetness of champagne is actually added by this tiny little sugary must that winemaker add right before they cork the bottle of champagne called the liqueur expedition. And that determines how sweet the champagne is. And the Brut Natural just means there's no additional sugar added right before they bottle it. And it's the driest, the most natural kind of style out there. And it goes by other name, kind of like zero dosage or Brut Zero is usually another really popular way to say that. So next step up, the next sweetness, we call it the extra brut. So extra brut. And extra brut here usually has anywhere between 0 to 6 grams of sugar per liter. It's just a little bit sweeter, but it's still pretty much bone dry. And then after that, we have brut. Brut is anywhere between 0 to 12 grams of sugar per liter. So far the name makes sense. And after this is where it's going to get a little crazy, especially for consumer. And you're going to be like, how in the world do they come up with names like this, right? This makes sense. Brut is somewhat dry, 0 to 12 grams. Extra brut is extra dry, and Brut Natural is really dry. That makes sense. But guess what? What's sweeter than brut? Sweeter than brut is called, makes no sense at all. Extra dry is actually sweeter than brut. And in extra dry champagne, you can get anywhere between 12 to 17 grams of sugar per liter. That makes no sense at all, right? And after that, even sweeter still, we have dry. Again, we're confusing all the consumer at this point. How do you have a dry champagne that's sweeter than all these other stuff? Which makes no sense, but I will explain that later. But this is between 17 to 32 grams of sugar per liter. And after that, then we get into the demi-sect. Demi is semi, sect is sweet, so semi-sweet. That makes sense. That's between 32 to 50 grams of sugar per liter. Excuse my handwriting. And then the sweetest one is the French word doux. I cannot write well, it's DOUX, and that's anything 50 plus grams of sugar per liter. So here you have it. That is a whole list of the different sweetness level in champagne. From Brut Natural being the driest to doux being the sweetest at 50 grams of sugar per liter. That is pretty high calorie. And so now let me explain why the naming makes absolutely no sense. Why do we have a dry and extra dry champagne named that way when it's sweeter than all this brut and extra brut? So when the champagne was first made, the most popular style was actually the demi-sec. That's what most people drink when champagne was first produced. And as the time goes by, people's taste change and trend changes. People want a drier champagne. So then from demi-sec, then they produce a champagne style called dry. Now that makes sense, doesn't it? And as time goes on further, people want even drier champagne. So then we went from dry to extra dry. And then we just kept going. We're like, okay, still not dry enough. Hence, then we have the brut, extra brut, and Brut Natural. So forgive it for making absolutely no sense at all. But just remember that when you see a champagne, dry is actually on the sweeter side. Just remember that. And out of all the different styles of champagne right now, the most popular in our current market is the brut. And I actually think it makes a lot of sense. Why? Because it's anywhere from 0 to 12 grams of sugar per liter. And for a natural human taster, most of us will start tasting and detect sweetness somewhere around 9 grams of sugar per liter. So it kind of just falls right into that range of us starting to feel like, oh yeah, it might be a little sweet, but still mostly dry. It's a really good balance. And then the extra brut and the Brut Natural are starting to gain popularity because nowadays we just really like them high acid and dry. But still, dominating the market is Brut Champagne. In fact, the one I'm drinking right now, the 2008 Brut Clicquot, is also in that Brut category. If you look closely, depending on the champagne bottle, you can almost always see them somewhere. So right here on the bottom, it says Brut. And if you do have a sweet tooth, like some of my friends and clients have, then you just have to go out there and really look extra hard for your dry demi-sec and doux champagne, which is a little harder to find, but they're still out there and they'll satisfy your sweet craving. So hopefully you learned something of value today. If you like the videos, please press like and leave me a comment. And if you want to learn more, go ahead and go on www.angiesomm.com. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.